As president, I will always support the incredible men and women of law enforcement. If the Democrats gain power, then the rioters will be in charge and no one will be safe. As you're seeing in our Democratic-run cities, these are all run by the Democrats, is what will happen in every city and community in America, and much, much worse if we don't keep them out.
President Trump addressed a smaller than expected crowd in Tulsa over the weekend, addressing recent riots and defunding law enforcement, and getting a lot of backlash from what he said was a joke about slowing down COVID-19 testing. Here to discuss further, we are joined by our Republican and Democratic strategists, Jackie Bally and Dallas Jones. Good morning to you both. Now, Jackie, we're going to start with you. There were smaller than expected crowds at this weekend's rally in Tulsa. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez claimed the Trump campaign was rocked by teens on TikTok who flooded the Trump campaign with some fake ticket reservations. But the president's administration says they weeded all of those bogus reservations out. Now, do you see this affecting future rallies? Could this happen again?
Well, we know part of the problem was we had several protesters and rioters from the radical left who were also there, blocking entrances, blocking ways for peaceful citizens who did want to see the president to actually attend the arena. We've seen throughout the country where riots and a lot of the radical left have been taking over businesses and innocent lives. 22 people were killed in New York alone this weekend in a 2-day spree. So even though the president does have a strong base, some people have to question, do we want to risk our lives to go see him? Because again, the radical left have really taken over in many ways.
Now, Dallas, the president is getting a lot of criticism from his administration, saying that it was a joke that he wanted to scale back coronavirus testing. Right now, many states are seeing a very big spike in these cases. Is this kind of carefree approach to COVID-19, which has killed tens of thousands of people, irresponsible?
Absolutely, it's irresponsible. COVID-19 is not a joke for many of the American families that are still reeling from the effects, that are watching every day the numbers going up in our communities. It is not a joke. It's not a laughing matter, particularly in our communities of color, where people are being affected in a disparate amount. But look, here's the reality. This rally was a failure for this president. We can blame the left. This White House always finds someone to blame. They claimed ticket reservations by over 1 million people, and only 6,200 by the Tulsa Police Department's count showed up. I mean, I think it shows a number of things. I don't think it speaks necessarily to his base of support. Sure, I'm sure the president has quite a bit of support out there still. Probably not enough to win in November at this point because of his failed coronavirus response. But Jackie, I think a 6,200 person showing up compared to the numbers of over 100,000 people that his campaign put out, I think we would agree that there's a great variance there. And I don't think that all of that was caused by kids and TikTok.
Well, I do think that the fact that the president did have a rally, as opposed to sitting in a basement like Biden does, shows that the president does have a strong base. His supporters will continue to come out. These are precarious times, and especially with a pandemic, the fact that you had people sleeping and spending the night overnight to see the president. Meanwhile, Joe Biden continues to hide because everyone knows on the left, including his campaign staffers, that he is not equipped or ready to hit the campaign trail, and he will be abysmal failure when he does come out and try to debate the president.
Joe Biden has over a 40-year record of serving this country. I think he's more than equipped to handle the campaign trail. But what he is not is a denier. He's not a denier in chief who's denying the realities of COVID like this president, who is assembling people in a stadium. What worse of a statement to send not only to our countrymen, but to the rest of the world about what he feels. Let's not even talk about his speech, which I watched the entire thing, as George Bernard Shaw said, in the smallest room of my house. I had it before me, and it was soon later after me.
Well, maybe Joe Biden has had 40 years, but it's been 40 years of failure. He's done absolutely nothing. We both know that. He has a legacy of dealing with segregationists. He has a legacy of dealing with racist policies. And now he's saying after 40 years in office, he's going to finally solve all the problems of the world. He didn't do it in 40 years, and he's not going to do it now.
Donald Trump having a conversation about what he believes and grandizes in his head about his record on civil rights doesn't mean that it's absolutely true. Joe Biden has worked with a number of people throughout the Senate. He has a strong record. The Trump White House has not, in his first year alone, did not open not one new civil rights case in the Department of Justice around anything relating to policing or reform. Joe Biden has championed these issues for decades, and so I think it's humorous for Donald Trump to come out and hail himself as a champion of people of color in this country. I'm sorry. I think the majority of African Americans, Hispanics, and everybody else that he has tried to deny the American dream would completely disagree with that falsehood.
Well, the president has a lot of support from people of color, even though Democrats and a lot of people in the mainstream media would love for everyone to think that he does not. He continues to show them with not only the people who come to his rally, but the people who continue to support him. Look, we knew that when the president was coming into his reelection, the unemployment rate for blacks was at its lowest ever. We knew that the president had several opportunities and has done many things for people of color. So just because people all of a sudden are saying that we're supposed to ignore the fact that Joe Biden has a proven record of being a segregationist, has a proven record of anti-people of color policies, all of a sudden because he needs people of color to vote for him. People are not dumb enough to forget his 40 years of nothing. He's done nothing for people of color for 40 years, and he's not going to do anything, even if he happens to be elected in November.
I think to say that Joe Biden is a segregationist is a stretch. To say that he needs people of color, but people of color are supporting him. Just because you take a few black people and prop them up behind you on a stage at a Make America Great Again rally, it does not mean that he has swaths of support from outside in communities of color. I think it's obvious that this president has failed. He's failed with DACA, which the Supreme Court has come back and said that Hispanic Americans that have a right to the American dream. He's failed with his handling of these protests, peaceful protests, the death of George Floyd, where he's essentially washed it out and not want to deal with the reality of race in this country. And so if this president is so supportive of African Americans and Hispanics and other people in this country that are not like him, tell me why we don't feel that way. Tell me why we aren't embracing him. Tell me why all of us are blind, and yet all of a sudden the people that voted for Donald Trump that have been loyal no matter what he's done, they're right and we're wrong in our assessment of America. Polls don't lie, people don't lie. We're very vocal about our disdain for this president. So what did we miss that maybe you see that the rest of us don't see that look like us?
Dallas, Jackie, we're going to have to end it there. Always a lively discussion when we have you on a Monday morning after an exciting weekend. So glad to have you back. Glad to be back in the studio, and we will continue this because we could continue this for a very long time. Thank you so very much. Look forward to a great week and you commenting on other things that happen as the week rolls on. Thank you so very much for joining us. We appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.